You know, this winter has been really tough for this region in particular. It's been a lot colder than we're used to. We've had a lot more moisture than we're typically accustomed to. We had a very wet fall and that's continued on through the winter. When you get any kind of moisture, whether it's rain, whether it's ice, sleet, snow, asphalt is not a solid surface in the sense that moisture gets through it. No matter how much you crown a roadway surface, you're still going to get water that's going to sink into those voids. When it gets into those voids and the temperature drops below freezing, you get that frozen material inside the asphalt. And when water freezes, what does it do? It expands. A piece of ice is bigger than a drop of water. That water freezes, expands, and then begins to pop out the asphalt. And then what will happen is traffic driving over top of a snowplow, pushing snow off of the top of the street, or another rain shower. All those factors can cause that asphalt to then pop out and then move, and boom, you got a pothole. The state of North Carolina as a whole is kind of unique in that sense because the state maintains a lot of roadways within the city that most people would consider city streets. And so it's an issue when we plow snow or treat roads with salt, and it's also an issue when we come to potholes and roadway maintenance. So some of the big obvious ones are like Business 40, Interstate 40, US 52. Those are obviously state roads. Anything that's a state route, such as Silas Creek Parkway and Renolda Road that are NC 67 or the NC 68, obviously those are state maintained roads, anything with a number on it like that. But there's a number of roads, like for instance Country Club Road from Silas Creek Parkway to the west is a state maintained road. Haynes Mall Boulevard, the entire length is a state maintained road. So there's some streets that would appear to be a city street, but they're actually state maintained. So the city's budget and the money we earn from gas taxes to take care of city streets, we only spend that money on the city roadways. The state has their own, pot of money and resources that they use to take care of the state maintained roads. We encourage folks to report it. Sometimes the operators will catch if it's a state road and we'll give them the contact information for NCDOT. If it does work its way to us, we know the state maintained roads as well, and we will call the state and contact them and report it. We only own one pothole truck, 855, and they'll tell you they're our best crew. It's a 2 to 3 man crew depending on the location of the city where they're going to be.
Need me to pull up?
That truck is our primary defense against potholes, and they run tickets when folks contact CityLink and put in a service request. We try to respond to all those requests within 24 hours, weather permitting. As they're running those service requests, they will keep an eye out for other areas, so they don't just drive over a pothole on their way to fix another pothole. They will stop and correct as they go, and then try to pull within an area as well so they can be as efficient as possible.
I feel like we were put here to do a job. We was hired to do a job. And I like to think that we are the best at what we do, as far as taking care of the citizen needs and stuff. Ain't nothing worse than having a full cup of coffee and hit a pothole and you waste it all over you. It ruins the whole mood and everything of your day. Once we figure out where's the pothole located at, as far as the address according to the SR report, we have to secure it, make sure that we're safe, one, while we're out fixing the pothole from traffic or anything like that, pedestrians. So that's the first step, to make sure once we get there, to secure the scene or the pothole area that we're going to be working in, our work area. At that point, we'll start observing some of the characteristics of that pothole, how deep it is, how wide it is, and what we have to do to fix it correctly. We have to jackhammer it out. What we've done, we squared the pothole up, and what we did was we just made sure that we had a good pocket for the asphalt to sit down in. So we used a jackhammer to cut a good square so we can have like a border or a wall for the asphalt to sit down in. This right here, this is called tack. And pretty much it's like a sealer, it's a glue to help the asphalt adhere to the pothole itself. You want to make sure that you dispense out just enough by eyeballing. That's all we do is, with the skill of eyeballing it to see how much asphalt we really need for that particular hole or cut, and we'll govern that accordingly. The loop is pretty much like a level. This smooths the asphalt out, and then from there, you will use the tamp to pack it down. The more potholes that we take care of and so forth, I think the better off for Winston to be as far as our streets and all. I mean, because they're everywhere. We only are one pothole crew team, you know, and I think we do pretty well covering ground, you know, day by day, you know, to make sure that there's less potholes than there was the day before by taking care of them. You know, I take pride in my job. I believe in service excellence, and I think that we fit the criteria of doing so, you know. But you gotta like what you're doing, and I see instant gratification as far as when I fix a pothole. I know that once we pull up to that particular road or street to fix one, that the problem will be solved at that point. You know, there's no more going back. You know, you can forget it. It's over and done. You know, the problem that was there is no more. And I take pride in knowing that I had a part in, you know, making sure that that's the case.
Report potholes or poor road conditions using your smartphone or tablet with the CityLink app. To report potholes or poor road conditions, contact CityLink by dialing 311 or 336-727-8000. For more information, visit www.cityofws.org.